Hey everyone, today we're shooting a quick video at my house down here in South Texas. The goal of today's video is to really tell my story for the first time on my YouTube channel about how I've started and grown 4 different 6- and 7-figure online businesses over the past decade. From how I started when I was just graduating college to where I am today with this house and the goats I have out back and all this cool stuff now. It's gonna be really fun. I'm gonna shed some light on the ups and downs of my entrepreneurial journey, and hopefully this will provide you with some encouragement and maybe even some advice if you're someone who is getting into the digital marketing space as well. So having said that, let's check it out. This is my dog Strudel. She's nervous right now. Come here. Strudel is like 114 years old in human years. Yeah, these are my son's ATVs. Has a really cool custom license plate that says, "I love drive." I thought that was really, really cool. Okay, so here we have the outdoor fridge. And you might be wondering, in addition to a few beverages, why do we have 5 heads of lettuce in there? Let me show you, follow me. So this is our tortoise that we've had for nearly a decade. His name is Sheldon. These tortoises live to be super old, and he's actually probably gonna get as big as this log that he's sitting under right now. And here's the goats. We have Nigerian mini goats. Get back. Get back. They're literally like little puppies. They'll just follow you around everywhere. They like to be pet, all that fun stuff. This is Oliver and this is Nico. They actually like to do this like headbutting contest thing where they see how hard they can push against my hand. Sometimes they get annoyed because I like doing it more than they do. And then these are the little ones. These are the babies, and they are not as courageous. They're still kind of shy. And they're super funny because what they'll do is they'll climb on top of stuff like our golf cart and like do backflips off, and they're super funny. So launching and growing online businesses was not always the plan for me. I grew up in a household where I didn't have entrepreneurs around me. My dad was in the Coast Guard, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and they're the most loving, supportive parents, but I didn't grow up around like self-employed people or entrepreneurs or whatever. As I was going through high school, the plan I had in mind was to go to college and get a degree as an architect. I had a knack for mathematics and design and stuff, so that was the plan for me. However, throughout high school and college, I got really involved with a local church, which is where some of my closest friends went to, and I got really involved. I was a part of the worship team and the ministry in many different ways, and I got super involved there. And I started doing graphic design and videography for that church. So my plan shifted from graduating high school and going to college for architecture to graduating high school and trying to get a job at this church doing what I loved, which was graphic design and videography. So I graduated high school, actually stayed in my hometown, went to college here and got a degree in communications. And then right after graduating from college, I got a full-time job at that local church with some of my closest friends. Literally 6 or 8 months into that first full-time job, I had a friend of mine who was an entrepreneur, and I had some conversations with him about what he did and what it means to be a business owner and be your own boss and be an entrepreneur and all that fun stuff. And he recommended a book to me that ultimately changed my life, which was Rich Dad Poor Dad. Tons of people have heard about this book. It's an amazing first book or first like entryway into the topic of entrepreneurship, so I highly recommend it. I read that book, and from that day forward, I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to do my own thing, and that was that. So honestly, it wasn't more than like 2 or 3 or 4 months later that I had formulated a plan of what I was gonna do, how I was gonna launch a business, and ultimately quit my job. A lot of stuff happened that first year right out of college. Like I said, I got my first full-time job. I quit my first full-time job. We moved into our first house. I launched this new business, and the new business was doing graphic design and videography. Since that was like the skill set I had in my hand, that was like the only thing I knew how to do. I started offering that service to friends and local business owners and things like that. I actually think I have a photo of me and my best friend Aaron making literally our first $100 from I think like a website that we did for another close friend of ours. So at that point in time, I did this really risky thing, and my life path was swerving all around. Thought I was gonna be an architect, instead stayed at my hometown, got a degree in communications, went to my first full-time job, quit my first full-time job, started this business. I was getting clients, things seemed to be going great, and that was that, right? However, in that first month of business, I literally made every mistake in the book, everything you could possibly do, right? The way I was offering my services, the way I was managing the business, I rented this super bougie, expensive office space that was totally unnecessary. But there was one major critical error I made, which was launching a business that didn't have any kind of recurring revenue. I realized this about 6 months in, like, holy crap, I'm offering these services such as one-off branding and design projects where if I want to make as much money next month as I did this month, I need to keep on selling, keep on selling, keep on selling. I didn't have any like recurring revenue services. About 6 to 8 months in, I was getting close to throwing in the towel. I was in a super tough spot. I had quit my job while my wife was 8 months pregnant, quit my first full-time job after 6 to 8 months of having it, to go off and start this business with hardly any planning. So even though it was one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make, I went ahead and went back to my full-time job. However, I was not going to give up on my dream of becoming a business owner, becoming an entrepreneur. I went back to a full-time job, but still in the back of my head every single day, I'm thinking about how this is gonna work. Right now, this is like a resetting period. I have a full-time job, I have a steady paycheck. At that point in time, we actually moved into our second house, and I just started formulating and planning like, okay, what's the next move for me? Around that time, I was doing research online for different business models that matched up with my skill sets in like the design and videography type of space, and I came across digital marketing. I came across what it looks like to offer marketing services for local business, and this was a business model that had recurring revenue and you could grow an agency, and I just came across this whole world of digital marketing. And so while I was still at that full-time job for the second time, I started learning that skill set, offering that service to clients, and started picking up new clients on the side as a side hustle. It wasn't more than 6 months later or so that my side hustle's income was matching the income I was making from my full-time job. And it became a really easy decision to go ahead and step out of my full-time job for the second time and go start another business. I also started to learn all these new skill sets that I could tack on to this new digital marketing business that I had created. I started off by learning SEO, and then I tacked on different skill sets such as Facebook ads and Google ads, Instagram ads. I started learning everything under the sun. And while I was prospecting for new clients and picking up new clients, I was also every night, every weekend learning as much as I could about new digital marketing skill sets. So there was very much an up and down type of struggle, the same way there was the first time, but this time around I was learning, I was picking up new clients, my income was growing consistently. Yes, it was still hard, but I was doing it this time. I had a business model that had recurring revenue, I was growing my book of business, I was learning new skill sets, and things were starting to really look up. Over the next couple years, I had grown my agency from 0 to 10K per month, to 20K per month, and then 30, 40, 50K per month. I didn't let off the gas in terms of continuing to invest in myself. I went to conferences, mentorships, more courses, just about anything I could get my hands on to invest in myself and keep learning and keep growing, I did. And ultimately, looking back, I think that's what allowed me to have any type of success really, which was just getting in close proximity with other people who had information about getting to where I wanted to be. And so at that point, things really started to click. I kept on landing client after client. My income went from 10K to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50K per month. That's right around the time we bought this house that I'm sitting in right now. Things were looking really, really good. And then around 2018, I decided to step into the consulting arena as well and start coaching and teaching other people how to launch their own digital marketing agency. And that business took off as well. So on one hand, I'm running this marketing agency that's doing 40, 50 grand a month. I'm also running a coaching program for marketing agencies that was doing 6 figures per month. Both of these businesses were humming along and doing really, really well. And then something happened. COVID. Now this actually affected both of my businesses. My agency, we obviously had clients that were trying to tighten up their marketing budgets. My consulting program, we saw marketing costs skyrocket. Also people being less willing to invest in education, mentorship, things like that. So both of my businesses were being squeezed really, really tight. Now we managed, we survived, everything was going okay. I actually did not have to let go of a single employee during that time, which is something I'm really proud of. However, at that point in time, I had pretty much dissipated my consultancy and I was just focusing on my agency. And my agency was at what I considered a new ground zero, which is like around $15,000 per month. So at that point in time, beginning of 2021, which is like a year and a half ago from now, I had to come up with a new plan. And that plan was to really buckle down, focus on my agency, and really solve one key problem, which is how am I gonna get clients and how am I gonna do it fast? Luckily, we tried out a bunch of different client acquisition methods, and some of them started to work really, really well for us. And from January 2021 to December 2021, we grew our agency back from $15,000 $60,000 per month, and we ended at $70,000 per month by the end of the year. So back even better than what it was before. So now moving into the next chapter of the story, we enter 2022. Okay, 2022, my agency is doing larger monthly revenue than it ever has been, and things were going really, really well. However, I started working with a mindset coach. I met this guy named Jose, and he started teaching me about how to find happiness and my purpose within my career. Now, obviously, I had always loved doing digital marketing and running companies and everything I had learned over the past 5-6 years. However, I wanted to really start focusing in on what made me happy on a day-to-day basis. And there's one really important concept that my mindset coach Jose taught me about, and that was a concept called ikigai, which is a Japanese concept of finding what your purpose is. This is all about finding the center of what you're good at, what you can get paid for, what you love, and what the world needs. The center of all those things, if you imagine a Venn diagram, is like your purpose, and they call that ikigai. Now, what I found out about myself after studying that concept was, even though I loved running a digital marketing business, what I loved even more was the teaching and training and coaching side of things. So moving into the middle of 2022, I started to shift my focus more towards mentorship and coaching like I had done before COVID. So everything kind of came full circle. And so that's pretty much where I'm at today. It was a long, crazy, curvy road that I went on, from thinking I was going to be an architect in high school to graduating, getting a full-time job at a church, quitting that job, starting a branding firm, failing, getting another job, starting a digital marketing firm, and then going through the ups and downs of scaling that marketing firm over time and starting a couple consulting programs along the way. But now here I am in 2022, focusing mainly on mentoring and teaching digital marketers how to scale their agency. And I'm just loving every minute of it. So the plan for now and moving into the future is to continue to do more of that. I want to teach people, I want to train people. That's why I'm ramping up my efforts on this YouTube channel to just give away educational information and connect with as many people as possible. I want to release free educational information on YouTube. I want to launch some Skillshare courses. I'm also doing my private mentorship with a small group of digital marketers who are trying to get from the 0 to 20K per month range up to 50, 80K per month, and honestly just adding as much value to digital marketers as I possibly can. Now, I do want to leave you with one thing at the end of this video. I know my whole story is about becoming a digital marketer, launching and growing a digital marketing agency and all that. And you may be sitting there thinking like, gosh, I want to launch my own business, or I have an online business right now that I want to grow. One piece of encouragement I want to give you is that whatever kind of online business you're launching, stick with it. There's a lot of people out there that try to tell you that their way is the best way. Their business model is the best business model, right? Am I telling you right now that because I launched and grew a successful digital marketing agency, that that's the way to go and you should do a digital marketing agency as well? No, that's just what I stuck with. There's tons of good online business models, affiliate marketing, digital marketing services, e-commerce, like whatever. There's literally hundreds, right? And trust me, I've tried most of them. If you're like me, you see ads on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube every single day about someone saying, hey, this is the best online business model. This is the best money-making opportunity of 2022. The best business model is not the one that is the most flashy and sexy. The best business model is the one that you're gonna stick with. Because to be honest, to make it in this business, to be successful in the world of online business, you need to stick with it and hustle for a long period of time. And the only way you're gonna stick with it for a long period of time is if it's something that you love, is if it's something that resonates with your personality. Okay, so that's my mini lesson of today. That's my encouragement of today. If you're at the beginning or middle of your digital entrepreneurial journey, get around people who will encourage you, who will provide you with accountability, and who will also help you down the path you're trying to go, and can also give you advice based on their experience. And most importantly, just don't quit. Guys, if this video has helped you out in any way, if you got any value from this, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. I'm gonna be releasing a lot more educational content and stuff to help you on your entrepreneurial journey in the very near future. Talk to you soon.